Hi, I'm Amy, thank you for tuning in. I always love making these most anticipated videos, but at the same time I'm worried that I'm going to miss something that I'm really looking forward to reading. So this is my most anticipated reads that I can think of so far for the first half of 2023. I've been really lucky to have already read some of these, but I thought I would share them since they're books that I've really enjoyed, and I'll show you the physical copies of them that I've read too. So first up we have The Midnight Game by Cynthia Murphy. You've probably heard me talking about this one before, but I absolutely love Cynthia Murphy's writing and I just think her books have got better and better. So The Midnight Game is Cynthia's third book, and in this one a group of teenagers meet on the internet having heard about this creepypasta story about the Midnight Man, and they decide that they're going to try to summon him in an abandoned building, and of course what could go wrong. I love the fact that this book delves into whether it could be supernatural or not, and it's got really cool segments in it, like extracts from social media and people talking. It's got little bits of the stories that the kids explore that you can read too. It's a great read, really well executed, absolutely love it. And this one comes out on the 5th of January, so you can pre-order it now if you're interested. Next I have the list, just because I can't remember all these books. We have Game Over Girl, a book that I've just finished and absolutely adored. This is Naomi Gibson's second book. It is about a group of teens who are testing out a virtual reality experience, and there are various rules, and the main character breaks some of the rules and things start going wrong. I love the fact that this book is full of secrets and intrigue. It's just really exciting. Naomi very effortlessly blends sci-fi into the real world and makes it feel really realistic, and I just love it. She writes great characters as well, and leaves you wondering what is going to happen and usually finding out that you are wrong, which is always really great for me. I love it when I can't predict where a book is going to go. So this one is another brilliant one, also out on the 5th of January. The next one, The Agency for Scandal, is also out on the 5th of January. This one is by Laura Wood. Again, anybody who watches my channel, the three authors that we've had so far all happen to be authors whose books I really love, and Laura Wood is no exception. She writes historical romances, often with bits of mysteries in them as well. And although they're completely out of my normal genre, Laura is one of my favourite authors. This one is a really fun read about an agency who helps women who've got into difficult situations. It is set in London in the late 1800s, and I just absolutely loved everything about it. The romance, the way Laura evokes settings and time periods is just absolutely brilliant, and I'd highly recommend you get a copy of this one as well. Sorry about what this is doing to your TBR and to your bank balance for January. Next, on the same day, we have Nine Liars, Maureen Johnson's new book. Sadly, I haven't read this one. I absolutely am a huge fan of the Truly Devious series and Box in the Woods, the follow-up book that isn't part of that series. And Nine Liars, as far as I know, continues with the same characters. I'm not going to read the blurb because I don't want to spoil it for myself, but basically Stevie is really into solving mysteries. She's amazing at it. She's already solved some historical cases. One thing I do know is that this one is a mystery from 90s England, so straight away I'm thinking Scream vibes.
You like scary movies?
Uh-huh.
What's your favorite scary movie?
I don't know.
You have to have a favorite. What comes to mind?
I think it's a slasher. Obviously Scream isn't set in England, but the 90s slasher vibes are what I am always looking for, so I'm exceedingly excited about this one. Next up, the past couple of years I've got really into Grady Hendrix's books, and his new book How to Sell a Haunted House comes out on the 17th of January. I am going to read the blurb for this one just because I'm too curious to not. It says, when Louise finds out her parents have died, she dreads going home. She doesn't want to leave her daughter with her ex and fly to Charleston. She doesn't want to deal with her family home, stuffed to the rafters with the remnants of her father's academic career and her mother's lifelong obsession with puppets and dolls. She doesn't want to learn how to live without the two people who knew and loved her best in the world. Mostly she doesn't want to deal with her brother Mark, who never left their hometown, gets fired from one job after another, and resents her success. But she'll need his help to get the house ready for sale, because it'll take more than some new paint on the walls and clearing out lifetime memories to get this place on the market. Some houses don't want to be sold, and their home has other plans for both of them. That sounds so good. I know I've spoiled it slightly for myself. I hope that you fast forwarded through that if you didn't want to hear the blurb. But But yeah, I just think Grady Hendrix does a great job with very modern, fresh adult horror. So I'm excited about that one. Next we have The Luminaries. I do have an early copy of this. I'm hoping to read it by the end of December, so I will have read it before it comes out. It is due to be published on the 26th of January, but the ebook is already out, so if you can't wait, you can read it in ebook. The Luminaries was described to me as a feminist fantasy, so straight away that piqued my interest. But I will read you the blurb of this one. Hemlock Falls isn't like other towns. You won't find it on a map, your phone won't work here, and the forest outside might just kill you. Winnie Wednesday wants nothing more than to join the Luminaries, the ancient order that protects Winnie's town and the rest of humanity from the monsters and nightmares that rise in the forest of Hemlock Falls every night. Ever since her father was exposed as a witch and a traitor, Winnie and her family have been shunned. But on her 16th birthday, she can take the deadly Luminary hunter trials and prove herself true and loyal and restore her family's good name. Or die trying. But in order to survive, Winnie must enlist the help of the one person who can help her train, Jay Friday, resident bad boy and Winnie's ex-best friend. While Jay might be the most promising new hunter in Hemlock Falls, he also seems to know more about the nightmares of the forest than he should. Together he and Winnie will discover a danger lurking in the forest no one in Hemlock Falls is prepared for. Not all monsters can be slain and not all nightmares are confined to the dark. Even reading that is making me think, why am I reading other things? I want to just jump into this straight away, but I'm reading some brilliant books, so I'm going to have to behave and read those first. Next up we have a book. I was absolutely delighted to get an early copy of this one, and Kendara Blake did sign it for me. Let's see if I can find the page. Which was really awesome. I was a huge fan of In Every Generation, the first book in this series, and I love everything Kendara Blake writes, particularly the Anna Dressed in Blood books and these. So I was delighted to get a proof of this, and this series, in case you don't know, is about Willow's daughter Frankie. It features characters from the Buffyverse, including some of my favourites. I won't spoil for you who they are, you need to read them to find out. But what Kendara Blake does really well is she captures the feel of the Buffyverse.
I can just tell something's wrong. My spider sense is tingling.
Your spider sense?
Pop culture reference.
Which I think is really hard to do, and possibly even more difficult. The dialogue, the characters are just absolutely perfect how they are in the series. I'm excited to get my finished copy of this one because these covers are beautiful, and hopefully you will want to pick this one up as well. So that one comes out in February. I just had to get up to get the next book, so I hope I haven't changed my position and thrown off the filming too much. But I really want to show you that this is the proof of A Game of Life and Death by Triona Campbell. This one comes out beginning of February, and when I read the blurb of this I knew that I really want an early copy, and I was very grateful. I'm just going to check it's Scholastic that sent it to me, so thank you very much for that. I'll just read you the blurb. An addictive thriller from the most sensational new voice in YA fiction. When 16-year-old Asha Kennedy discovers her older sister Maya's dead body in their home, her world falls apart. Desperate for answers and to stay out of the hands of the social services where she grew up, Asha turns to her hacker friends for help. Her search leads her to Zootech, the hit game studio where Maya was the lead coder. As Asha begins to unravel the riddle of her death, she realises that the only way to uncover the truth is from the inside. Asha goes to her old life and infiltrates a Zootech esport tournament as they launch Shackle, the revolutionary VR video game Maya was working on, which hides a monstrous secret. Perfect for fans of The Hunger Games and A Good Girl's Guide to Murder, a guaranteed page-turner full of heart, tension and twists you won't see coming. The first book in a major new YA series. It sounds really good. I love this trend of virtual reality and tech that is seeping into YA books, like in Game Over Girl and this one. So I'm really excited about that. Next we have a book called Break Up From Hell by Anne de Villa Cardinal. I hadn't heard of this one, but when I was doing a bit of research into books that are coming out next year, this sounded amazing, so I've added it to the list and pre-ordered it. It comes out on the 2nd of February, so not too long to wait for this one either. It says, fans of Undead Girl Gang and the Babysitter's Coven will love Break Up From Hell, a witty YA rom-com with a supernatural twist, starring horror novel obsessed Mika Angeles, who discovers the boy she fell for comes straight out of one of her beloved books. I think that sounds really fun. I like the idea of romance with the hint of supernatural, so I think that that will be a really fun one. Next we have another book. Probably one of my favourite reads of the year was My Heart is a Chainsaw by Stephen Graham Jones. Thank you to my friend Lizzie I will link to her channel in the description. She recommended it to me. And the sequel, Don't Fear the Reaper, comes out on the 7th of Feb. The beginning of the year is so good for books. I can't believe we're only up to February. I won't say too much about it because it is a sequel, but basically the main character Jade in the first book is absolutely obsessed with horror movies. She thinks that there is going to be a slasher cycle happening in her town, and then you get to see how the book plays out and whether she's right or not. I'm not going to read the blurb for this because I'm trying to resist, but it does continue Jade's story. The cover is really cool. It has got a scythe on it. I'll put that up on the screen so you can see. I really recommend Stephen Graham Jones's writing. He captures that slasher feel absolutely perfectly. It's like watching a slasher movie in a book. He creates these amazing characters that you really root for, so when things start going wrong, as they invariably do in a slasher, you really care about these people. And yeah, I just really recommend you get to My Heart's Chainsaw if you haven't read it yet, because you've still got time before the 7th of Feb, as I said. So next up, when I was researching books, I've been thinking about reading Colleen Bayron's books. I do have a couple of them. And then when I read about her new book, which is called My Dear Henry, and it's a Jekyll and Hyde remix, I've instantly added it to the list. I really like the story of Dr. Jekyll and Mr. Hyde. I've always found it really fascinating. And this is described as a gothic YA remix of Dr. Jekyll and Mr. Hyde. A teen boy tries to discover the reason behind his best friend's disappearance and the arrival of a mysterious and magnetic stranger in misty Victorian London. Sounds really cool. I like the fact that it stayed in the historical setting, and I think that'll be really good. I'm assuming it's going to make me want to read all of Colleen Bayron's books. And then another one I've read but I don't have a physical copy to show you. I will put the cover on the screen because it is one of the most gorgeous covers I've seen for as long as I can possibly remember. In Nightfall by Suzanne Young is, I think it's described as sort of loosely a Lost Boys retelling. It reads very much like Lost Boys to me, where a couple of teens move to the town of Nightfall and strange things start to happen, and no spoilers here to say that they start to realise that some of the townspeople are vampires. I think that the blurb tells you plenty about that. It is absolutely brilliant. If you are a fan of the Lost Boys, if you're a fan of Buffy, you know those books that capture vampire mythology so well and do their own version of it. And it just has that feel of, you know, 80s and 90s movies like The Lost Boys that just have really good and nostalgic vibes. It captures that brilliantly. And it has that kind of heady romance where you're not sure whether the characters that are getting involved with each other, whether it's going to be good for them or not. Trying to talk in code so I don't spoil it. But yeah, it's a brilliant book, very well executed. Some of those books are so good. I wish I'd written it. I wish I'd had the idea of writing a Lost Boys retelling. I should mention as well that it is gender flipped, so it's interesting how some of the characters that you might expect to be the male vampires in the book, from the movie, are actually female in the book, which gives it a nice slant that it is a powerful group of female vampires as opposed to male ones. And that one comes out, I'm not sure whether I said, on the 28th of March. Then we have Let's Play Murder, another one that I've been lucky to read. I haven't got a physical copy of it. It's by Casey Lupo. Sorry, Casey, if I pronounced your name wrong. This one comes out on the 13th of April. It was so good. Another one with the VR slant, where Veronica wakes up trapped with 4 strangers in a sprawling manor house in a snowstorm with a dead body, a mystery right out of an Agatha Christie novel. It feels so real, but it isn't. This is VR and this is the game. A rumoured Easter egg hidden in other VR games that draws you into a competition for a prize beyond your wildest dreams. And there's no escaping the VR world until the game is won. But while Veronica and her fellow players are trying to figure out the puzzle, something is not right in the VR world. Blackouts, glitches, NPCs acting strange, and a mysterious figure haunting their footsteps. Then, when a player dies and also dies in real life, all hell breaks loose. Without warning, the game Veronica thought she was playing gets overshadowed by a much darker and much more real mystery: who is killing us? It may not be a game Veronica wanted to play, but it's one that she has to win or die trying. It is just as good as it sounds. I loved the mystery in this one. It's so fast paced, very atmospheric, and it's another one like Game Over Girl where you're questioning everything, you're questioning everyone. You have this group of characters and you're just trying to figure out all the time who you can trust. It is so good. Next, another one that I've read but don't have a physical copy. I'm not sure that they're available yet. My Love Life and the Apocalypse by Melissa Welliver. This one is, how do you even describe this book? It is an apocalyptic romantic comedy road trip, I would say. Post-apocalyptic even. So yeah, it's described as a post-apocalyptic rom-com perfect for fans of Adam Silvera. The most fun you'll have in an apocalypse. I think that pretty much does it. So I'm going to read the blurb for you. Human life is dormant, waiting out the apocalypse in suspended animation. Empty cities wait for their inhabitants to return, tended by robots, but not all robots are simply machines. Humanoid Echo's heart is faulty, which means he's pretty much a normal teenage boy, and he's lonely after a century of vintage TV reruns and canned beans. Then a space pod crashes from the sky with a girl on board, Pandora. But why has she woken up and no one else? Can they find answers in their ended world and new beginnings in each other? A highly original, uplifting YA love story science fiction mashup with a slow burn romance, set in an abandoned but fully maintained New York City, where the characters live out all our empty mall dreams. A thrilling adventure with plenty of unexpected twists and turns and a dash of darkness. YA readers will love Echo's vintage 90s 2000s culture obsession. Agreed, all true. It is really fun. As it said, it's nostalgic because Echo has spent a lot of time on his own watching 90s and the thousands films, so those films that we know and love he references a lot. The characters in this are great. It's a split narrative done really well, with very distinct voices, and Melissa Welliver really knows how to write apocalyptic and post-apocalyptic fiction. So another really exciting one for you to look forward to, and this one comes out on the 13th of April. So that is it. I'm sure there's something really important that I've forgotten, but I'm glad with the selection that I've come up with. As I mentioned, I've read quite a lot of them. I'd highly recommend you check them out. I do feel very lucky that I've been sent early copies of a lot of my really anticipated reads this year, and I've managed to read most of them. I'm still waiting to read A Game of Life or Death, but otherwise I think I've managed to get to the others. So I will put information as always about the books in the description if you'd like to know more about them. And thank you so much for watching. I do appreciate all the support this year. It's been lovely to see my channel starting to grow. And I've got some exciting plans for next year. I will be doing a YA book club, reading one YA book a month and then doing a live stream at the end of the month with some friends to chat about the book. So you're welcome to read along with us. I'll be checking in once a week, but you can do that and read so much a week with us, or you can read the book at your own pace. And the first one will be Frozen Charlotte by Alex Bell, which is an absolutely brilliant YA horror. But if that's not your thing, we will be reading different genres, so feel free to drop in and out different months. I also have a giveaway of that book up on my social media, which you can find more about in the description. And I'm currently running a giveaway for 2 signed J. Kristoff books as well, Empire of the Vampire and Dark Dawn, which is in my December haul video. If you comment, that will count as an entry to win those books. I'll be announcing both of them later on this month, so you can hopefully be in with a chance of winning. So thanks so much for watching right to the end. As always, likes and subscribes are really appreciated, and I'll catch you in the next video and hopefully in the new year. I hope you have a really lovely festive season and have a good break, whether or not you're celebrating. Thank you for watching. Bye!